Like HR, the finance function has many sub-activities, such as financial reporting, cash management, and accounts receivable. While you will often want to focus on individual activities and services, here I'm going to consider a higher level analysis cutting across the function. What are then some of the key general trends coming from digital technologies that are really relevant for finance? Let's start with the business, where the pace and uncertainty of digital change has really important implications for the nature of the investment processes that finance needs to support. So a classic traditional investment decision would be, for example, in a new production line. Here, one shown at farm equipment maker John Deere. For these kind of traditional decisions, detailed financial analyses based on historical data is possible and often quite useful and insightful. This, however, is very different for the investment in a prototype for, say, a new AI-enabled sprayer, which is shown here, where there is really too much uncertainty for traditional financial projections based on historical data to be of much help. Moreover, one needs agile budgeting processes where promising initiatives can be scaled up quickly if there is positive signals coming from the market and the prototypes. What about, though, all of that traditional reporting and compliance work that typically takes up most of the attention of the finance function? Well, these sorts of repetitive processes based on really identifiable rules are a leading application of what we call robotic process automation. This involves codifying the work of human operators that interface with various digital tools and replacing most of that work with sophisticated software. Applications here include filling and issuing purchase and sales orders, receiving and processing supplier invoices, and issuing and delivering customer invoices. There is a clear value creation logic to such robotic process innovation, but note well, it does not apply to every process. So the potentially large leap in value creation comes from greater accuracy and speed of financial processes and at much lower cost of execution. However, there are important fixed costs of setting up the automation. These include the resource costs of robotic automation specialists, as well as requiring resources from the business, people who can really understand the broad functioning of your existing processes and help make them be effectively automated. Now, given these fixed costs, positive value creation depends on the throughput of the process and its stability. For example, process automation does not make sense for infrequent financial transactions while the process is constantly shifting with changing regulations. Better off to leave something like that manual. Here is a third key trend with great relevance to the finance function: data visualization. Finance sits on a real wealth of incredible data on both resource costs and on revenues. And this data is usually underutilized for decision-making inside the company. Modern data visualization tools allow decision makers to have faster and more convenient access to data analytics. There is, of course, one huge caveat: that data needs to be centrally accessible rather than spread across different systems and even in individual spreadsheets. The ideal is a central cloud-based data lake pulling together all the company's financial information. Wow, easy to say create a data lake, but in practice it requires lots of energy to execute effectively. Ingesting and linking a wide diversity of data is a significant effort, as is assuring strong security levels and setting up organizational governance procedures within the company. To conclude, here's a sketch of what an overall analysis of a finance function could entail. In terms of the environment for the business, there could be pressure to make more speculative investments given major technology shifts, and in general, pressure for faster decision-making despite an increasingly complex operating environment. Interestingly, major changes in the finance function itself offer the means to respond to these business needs. These shifts in the function include the ability to automate existing processes, to then allow a focus on the challenges of the business, as well as new tools like data visualization and predictive AI models that can enable greater added value from finance to the business. Some CFOs are seeking a fundamental transformation of the value proposition of their function. They want to move away from a labor-intensive, compliance-focused function that's reactive and backward-looking with a focus on historic performance data. They want to move to a value proposition to the business based on automated processes and proactive prescriptive services where their organization serves more as a financial advisor to the business. Yes, this can be a compelling vision, but the execution challenges are, of course, considerable. The finance department will need to develop sophisticated data resources to really deliver on this shift in value proposition. To do this requires a major change in the processes, competencies, and the culture of the function. These new resources need to be built up over time. Critically important is for the function to develop a mindset for business partnering, something that cuts across many support functions today. Being a trusted business partner means fundamentally understanding the business reality of internal clients, to understand what it is to walk in their shoes. Especially in times of change and transformation, effective leadership of support functions, whether HR, IT, or finance, requires understanding and aligning with the strategy of the business lines you're serving. Your weekly assignments in the course are a great opportunity